I need to ask about this. Pre-match press conferences, it's always interesting to hear what managers have to say, but it can be a bit mundane. It's usually about this player's injured, this player is back fit. However, it's been a little bit more lively recently because Jurgen Klopp has been effectively criticising some of the other sides, Chelsea and Manchester City, United, for the money that they've spent, whereas Liverpool have had hardly any transfer business so far. Now, Pep Guardiola came out guns blazing. Here's what he had to say, because I know, Darius, you missed out on this initially. He said, some owners want to benefit, our owners don't want any benefits, so they don't invest in the team. Well, we invest what we can. Before, there were only one or two clubs. Now there's Chelsea with Abramovich and our club with Sheikh Mansour. They want to be buying into football. What is the problem? We have limits for financial fair play, and if they don't agree, they can go to court and make a statement. He's egging them to go to court if they have an issue with this. We bought Jack Grealish because we sold players for 60 million, so in the end, we have only spent 40 million. We follow absolutely the rules. And he also said this, years ago, when Manchester United won a lot of titles, it was because they spent more money than other clubs. Do you remember that? At that moment, Manchester City couldn't do it because we did not have the owners we have now. Michael, what does that say about Klopp and Guardiola and this rivalry, which is really heating up and haven't even played each other?
I think it is, and it built up from Jurgen Klopp actually saying he can't compete with others. His team aren't spending money like a Manchester City, a Chelsea, and they can't do it. They have to live with the money that they can spend. Although when you look at Jurgen Klopp, I think they spent 60 million last year. So they are spending money. We've seen them invest on many, many occasions like other sides. Yes, at different times, people spend more money. We understand that. Jurgen Klopp comes out and criticises. I don't think he needs to do that. But Pep Guardiola is defending his team, he's defending his owners and his club, and rightly so. He wants to back his club and understand why they're doing it. And he understands that they're also going to spend money and people are going to criticise. Jurgen Klopp should maybe know better, not to criticise the likes of Chelsea, Manchester City. Get on with his job. It was a difficult year. He's done an amazing job so far for his football club, and I don't think he needs to do that. And that's why Pep's coming back to sort of explain that, and he's not going to accept it.
Darius?
Yeah, certainly. I think there's possibly a little bit of frustration from Klopp there, watching, you know, his fellow manager be able to purchase players of the likes of, you know, Grealish and go on to look at other, you know, top strikers, whereas he's not got that opportunity by the looks of it now. So he's possibly a little bit frustrated at that. But maybe that's something he needs to keep to himself. But at the same time, you know, you put these things out there, you know, you create the frustration there with Pep. And who's to say that doesn't affect the way that he, you know, sets up his team on the weekend with that frustration in mind? It's all gamesmanship. It's not something that I've ever played into. But, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily needed to get said. But it's a great response there from Pep Guardiola.
Well, OK, final question then, gentlemen. What was your biggest takeaway this weekend? Let's start with you first, Michael. I mean, Manchester United's result, phenomenal against Leeds United, yet they also scored 6 against the Leeds last year, so it's nothing new. Same with Manchester City losing 1-0 to Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We saw that last year. Liverpool, I know Norwich won in the Premier League last season, but it's customary for them to beat Norwich, seemingly. Brentford's result, I know you were at the stadium. So many things I could sit here and list out. So what was it for you?
I think you got to say, you're looking at obviously working yesterday, I didn't see a full show of all the Premier League games and what actually happened. You looked at comebacks, looked at Brighton as well, coming back against the Burnley side, a Manchester United side scoring 5 when Leeds are going for it. So it was welcome back to the Premier League, very much, you know, what we wanted to see. But for me, as I've mentioned on a few occasions now, to be there for Brentford, 74 years since they were last in the top flight. The game was also against Arsenal. For the go on them to beat them, yes, it was a weakened Arsenal side. I understand that. But it was what we all grew up for football on special nights. And that was certainly a special one at Brentford on Friday night.
Yeah, we could see what it meant to the crowd, which is another huge addition to the Premier League this season. There was an elderly gentleman, Brentford supporter, literal tears rolling down his face, Darius. So we know how much it meant to the Brentford fans. But what was your biggest takeaway from all the matches on match day 1?
I can't really veer far away from that. When you talk about us not having supporters for such a long time, and then to get them back, the Premier League comes back, and then Brentford, you know, they get promoted and they come out with a performance like that against a top team. All of the emotions that, you know, the sport's about, the game's about, that the players have been missing, you know, it come out in that game. I was lucky enough to watch it at a hotel. I was with my young football team, which we're coaching. And all of the players were, just infused watching the game, and the emotion was felt amongst the guests watching the game. So it's not like me. I'll get a bit, emotional, and I'll pick Man City for one reason or Villa for a different reason. But seeing Brentford come off with that result, it was great for them and the City and the supporters. So see how they do this season. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, two of the promoted sides getting victories this weekend as well, I should add. Let's not forget about Watford beating Aston Villa. Sorry to bring it up, Darius. I know it's the club you started your career with. It wasn't a dig at you. It was just a great result. A great result.